My name's Tim Roberts, also known as Zygote, and welcome to this tutorial on adding music and environmental sounds already contained in Crysis into your level. The completed level Watanabe, along with better quality images, will be available soon on crymod.com under Sandbox test levels in the download section. The first part of this podcast will concentrate on using the environmental sounds included within Crysis, with the second part involved with adding music to your map. The first thing to do is to create a level. Once you have it, the first thing to do is to create an area around the part of the level that you want to have the sound in. Remember that if you're using ambient sounds, the sound will bleed slightly out of this area. The next thing to do is to place the sound entities. The entities that I will be covering are the ambient volume, the random sound volume, and the reverb volume. Each of these entities can be placed in the map by themselves and will still work, but only inside the radius of the entity. Once the sound entities have been placed, the next thing to do is to connect the entities to the area that you placed earlier. To do this, click on the area to select it and scroll down on the roll bar and click on the pick button. Then click on the sound entity and it should appear in the box above like the one you see now. Repeat the process for each of the sound entities. This will mean that each of the sound entities will be active when the player is inside the area. The next part of the process is to select the settings for each of the entities. First, I will go through the ambient volume settings that you should pay attention to. The main setting that you need to pay attention to is the name setting. By clicking on the empty space next to where it says name, a small folder icon will appear at the end of the box like you can see in the picture now. Clicking on this folder icon will open the sound browser. Because my level is a swampy style map, I chose the Ambient Marsh 2 sound. To add more variation to the environmental audio in the map, a random sound entity is a great choice. Again, the setting in the roll bar that you will want to look at is the name box. The numerical value boxes above this can be used to set how often the random sound plays. I decided to use Random Swamp Night Sensitive for my random sounds. The final sound entity that you will need to use is the reverb volume entity. It should be noted that this effect will only work when the sound setting is medium or above. The box to choose the reverb type is the reverb preset box, and clicking on the button with the 3 dots will give you a window to select from. Having environmental audio running whilst choosing the reverb preset is a good idea because you'll be able to hear the effect. Note that the reverb preset doesn't affect music that is being played using the in-game dynamic music system. To give your map even more variation, sound spots are a really good idea. Whether it's a bird in a tree or the sound of a waterfall, sound spots cover most jobs. Sound spots are almost the same as the previous described audio entities, but with a few minor differences. The name box is now called Source, and you have access to a few other settings. These are Loop, Once, and Volume. Loop and Once do exactly what they say. Volume also does what it says, but it should be noted that the maximum volume output is 1, with the lowest volume, i.e. nothing, being 0. Something that caused me a bit of pain is when areas are combined with sound spots. A sound spot that is placed inside an area will not be heard outside of that area even if the radius values are large enough. To see another example of a complete environmental audio setup, have a look at Intelligence, which can be found under the Intel Mapping Competition section of the downloads on CryMod, or by clicking on the text on the photo will take you to the download page. The final section of this tutorial will focus on adding basic music to your level.